Yes, what's happening, people? It's the BBC Asian Network. Your boys Candyman and DJ Limelight each and every Saturday, 9 p.m. till midnight. You know how we do. We do it big, man. Hashtag Saturday Night Hype. And it doesn't get any more hype than this. Right by now, I'm joined by the one and only Jay Sean.
Yes!
Is up in the building. Welcome home, brother.
Bruv, all good. Good to be back, man.
Good to have you up on the show, man. It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
It's been a minute.
Do you remember the last time you was on the show?
No, tell me. Remind me.
I'm going to give you a quick reminder.
Okay, go on.
Before we come back to 2014, do you remember this?
Boy Jay Sean. Sean. MC Zany. Yes. Look like this.
Damn, this is a long time ago.
Years ago.
Days, and we're going round and round just playing silly games. Now you're saying slow it down, not right now. Then you wink at me and walk away. But let it be, let it be, let it be known. Hold on, don't go. Touching and teasing me, telling me no. But this time I need to feel you ride it. We're all alone, ride it. Just lose control, ride it. Come touch my soul, ride it. Baby, let me feel you. And turn the lights down, no, ride it.
Do you remember that?
I remember that now, man.
That was crazy, man.
Yeah, that was sick.
And that was right around the time, well, I'd say just before you got picked up by Cash Money Records,
that was like
man.
6 years ago.
It's been crazy, man. Tell us about the States, how that all came about. You know, run us through that journey, bruv, because you've been definitely flying the flag out there, man.
Yeah, and it actually came about because of that song, Ride It.
Okay.
So Ride It, of course, obviously was a big tune for me here, and it got millions of views across YouTube, and that video is what Slim and Baby, who are the CEOs of Cash Money, they saw that video. They were passed on that link from a mutual friend of ours.
Okay.
And they were like, yo, we need this guy over here. Love his style of music. And of course, they saw I had an existing fan base because they were like 20, 30 million views.
Yep.
And they were like, boom, let's bring him out in America. So we sat down with them and boy, we just signed it. We signed it that day when I flew out.
Crazy, man. I remember right around that time when you released that album as well, you had everything in your own hands.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
For a couple of years, you were doing everything yourself. The videos, you know, the sound of the music, it was you. It was Jay Sean.
Exactly.
Like, you know, what we know you best for.
Right.
So, did you feel any difference? Was there any kind of, or was it all still your creative control when you went over to Cash Money?
It got a little lost, man. It got a little lost. I got lost. You know what I mean? This pop-up, this R&B thing that I had going on over here in England was, of course, where that was my vibe. That's who I started off as. Going over to the States, it's different there, man. It's like what we consider urban music and R&B is not what they consider urban and R&B. It's a lot more. It's just, you know, for them, cats like Dwelle and Music Soul Child are R&B and soul, you know what I mean? And we don't have the equivalents here like that necessarily. Yeah. We have a bit more, but same way how Craig David blew up, it was a pop R&B sound.
That's right.
Same with us. So for them, they were like, that urban thing's not really gonna fly here for you. You know, we'll try to find some other styles that you can do. And then it just so happened that as the pop songs that I was writing, because as a songwriter, I can write anything. I can write pop songs, I can write R&B. It was the pop songs that flew for me. And then you know what it's like, man, you get stuck in one lane. You know what I mean? You get put in a box, oh, Jay Sean's the one who does this, and he does the up-tempo, fun party records. I was like, man, yes, that's one side of me. But there's so much more America hadn't heard yet.
That's right.
So I was starting to get frustrated by having to constantly go in the pop lane and chase the pop hits. And then the worst thing about that was everything starts sounding the same. So then a song from Chris Brown or Usher or me or Neo is all the same song. It's just a song over a dance beat, which is what was going off at the time.
That's right.
So I think a lot of us lost our identity, and then I think it's no surprise that Chris had to go off and do another. He dropped his mixtape because he wanted to show people, yo, I still mess with this music, even though you're hearing me on these pop dance records. Usher had to go and do his thing as well. Yo, I had to go and do my thing. I had to go and make the Mistress 1, which was an R&B mixtape.
Of course, I remember that. That was big.
Yeah, man. And then it got to the point where I was like, well, you know what? I don't want to do this double thing. Like, I'm just the pop game didn't give me any joy anymore. I wasn't happy in it, man. I felt like I'd gone too far from who I was. And so for me, I had that conversation with Cash Money. I was like, I need to do this. And if this is the route that if you want me to go down this route, I can't do that anymore. So we parted ways, man. It was quite simple. It was just like, you know, I needed a bit more support in where I needed to go, and I wasn't getting pushed the right way. So I was like, yo, I've got to take control again.
For real, man. Nevertheless, you got to work with some big artists, some legends. Obviously, you worked alongside Lil Wayne, Lil Jon, Sean Paul.
Yeah.
What was that like, man? been in
Sick. I mean,
studio
they're
with these
all
guys.
great. Sean is amazing. Sean Paul is actually one of my real good friends now since the collab, because we've done a lot of shows together, and he's mad down to earth. And you know, for him and me to work together was always just something I've always wanted to do a track with Sean. So it was real nice to do that. Nikki, of course, I picked Nikki up before she really turned into Nicki Minaj she is now. If you look at all the collabs if you look at when I did that song 2012, it was just before the brink of that she blew up to the Nicki Minaj she is right now. So it was nice to work with her before all the madness. You know, and then I got to work with people like Mary J. Blige, who for me is just like, you know, for all of us people who grew up in that R&B era, just a legend.
Legendary.
You know what I mean? And so I'd have people like that just give me you know, she called up for me to be on her record. So that was wicked, man. It was just, you know, I've done a lot of big things out there with a lot of big collabs, and I'm just blessed to have worked with so many great people.
That's right, man. Doing it big out there in the States, man. Have you been keeping your ear to the streets? Have you been keeping your ear open to what's been going on out here in the UK?
It's hard for me, man. I'll be honest with you. I have to call my brother up. I'm like, yo, tell me who. I'm going back to England. Tell me who I need to be, what names I need to be dropping. But it is hard for me. I've seen a lot of people come up, man. I know from the UK urban scene, of course. You know, you guys know when I started up. You know, me, Skep, and me and Wiley, and me and Chip. And, you know, the whole Boy Better Know crew, we all did records together. Even Tiny, me and Tiny was in my video for Down before he even became Tiny Temper.
That.
So that was my boy. I did a song with him called I Still Love You back in the day. So, you know, that was the crew that I came up with, you know, in terms of when I was here.
Okay.
Since then, I know there's been a ton of young, fresh MCs.
Been a lot of talent.
Yeah,
There's
man.
been a lot of talent. You still in touch with these guys? Boy Better Know Skepta's doing really well right now, man.
Yeah, man. He was out in New York, I think he was, doing a bit of things out there. So, yeah, they'll always be my boys, man. Always.
Good look. That's a good look. So I say, you know, before we get to more talking, let's get into some music.
Yeah.
What should we get into? Should we get into Down quickly?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah?
I mean, you can
Let's take it back a couple of years, and then we'll bring it back to, you know, what's hot right now. Let's do this. It's the BBC Asia Network. Your boy is Candyman and DJ Limelight. Jay Sean is up in the building. Let's do this. BBC Asia Network, Candyman and DJ Limelight. Jay Sean is up in the building. And that day was Down. We had to take it back a couple of years, man. That tune there, can I just tell you, even till this day now, whenever myself and Limes drop that tune, that still goes off. There was something about that tune, bro.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, I'll be singing that song until I'm 85 years old. You know what I mean? It's one of them that you can't top that. How can you top that? You know, it was a US #1 Billboard, and you know the amount of spins it got on radio. I mean, it was crazy.
What was that like? Because you know, here you are, this guy from London. You've gone to the States, and you
with my first song.
Your first song,
that was what was mad. That was what was mad about it. So it was a whirlwind, man. I went out there as a no name. You know what I mean? And then I became a household name within a couple of months because that song was getting played every 30 minutes on every radio station in America. So no matter when, the joke would land in a new state, switch on any radio station, be like, all right, let's see how long it takes. And sometimes it'd be 3 minutes, sometimes it'd be 12 minutes, sometimes it'd be 20 minutes and the song's on. And it was an amazing, amazing feeling. It was just crazy. Like I said, got up there and all of a sudden, one minute they're playing a Justin Timberlake record and the next minute it's me. And then the next minute I'm getting a phone call from Justin Timberlake saying, I want you to perform at my charity event.
Crazy.
And I'm there in Vegas at the MGM performing with him, Taylor Swift. Who else was there on the stage? It was just madness. It was just a bunch of Alicia Keys, just like all these people that I was suddenly performing on stage with.
That's crazy, man. You had my mum singing. I remember when the video first came out on TV, she was like, oh, Jay Sean there?
Yeah, I know.
And then Lil Wayne came and she couldn't believe it.
Yeah, of course.
I was like, yeah, he's gone. He's gone now.
It was mad. It was a really, really amazing run for me, you know, and I had a lot of fun with that. But like I said, that was that era, that was that time, and you know, I was a fresh voice on American radio because Chris Brown was out, he wasn't doing nothing. Usher wasn't on radio. Justin was taking some time out. Enrique wasn't about. Neo wasn't about. So all of a sudden it was all female dominated, and then they had this new male voice.
Crazy.
And everyone was like, yeah, we could do with a new male voice on radio. And then of course Chris came back, Usher came back, Neo came back, Justin came back. And now I'm like, now I got some heavy competition again.
But there will always be one Jay Sean, man.
Yeah, man,
you know?
it was mad. It was
Unique
mad.
Jay Sean.
It was a good run.
And you've been touring the world for years, man. Not just now, you've been doing it from day one.
Yeah, man.
How about you keeping your ear open to what's going on out in India, in Bollywood? I know you did some work out there early in your career as well.
I'm actually talking to A.R. Rahman right now. We're doing a song for a film together. Wow. So, yeah, man. I mean, for me, you got to remember one thing that's very important. I consider brand. It's it's extremely important to me, man, because there's only a few reasons why certain people last a long time. I've been going 12 years now.
Yeah.
In the music industry, to be around for 2 years nowadays is a miracle.
You're
it
right.
really is. So
You're
to
right.
be around for 12, as the only thing I can put it down to is a loyal fan base. And those people, they just want to see you win. And they just love to see, you know, you come back and do some more stuff. And that's when I made the decision. I was like, all right, you know, I need to come back and service them with some stuff that they really knew me for in the first place.
For real, man.
You know?
What's the first thing you do when you reach London? What's the first thing you do?
Straight to my mum's house, bruv.
What's the first thing you eat? Because I'm about the food. What do you eat? What's the first thing you eat?
Straight andapura. That's it.
Oh, cheese.
So my mum will make me a nice masala andapura, and she knows to put 6 eggs in it. So she
It's all
makes
about
me
6 eggs.
Makes me a 6 egg omelette, and then of course a nice cup of jar. You know what I mean?
Oh, love it, love it, love
That's
it.
it. Indian
You're my
tea.
vibe. You're my vibe, man.
It's the
I love
one.
all of that, man.
It's the one.
But yeah, man, obviously we came to see you when you released Mistress Volume 1 as well. You
Yes.
did the thing where you had the selected audience.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, they got to ask you questions. You did a Q&A as well.
Yeah.
What made you start this series, the Mistress series?
I had an idea to do a concept album, and see, the problem is with a lot of what I found when I was putting my albums together, that there wasn't a glue that held the songs together. It was like, this producer's hot, you go and do a song with him. Oh, and we need an up-tempo for radio, so let's do an up-tempo for radio. Oh, and then you want to, in the mood of doing a ballad, because, you know, you want to show that side of you too, so you do a ballad. Then it's disjointed, the whole thing is disjointed. And I was like, I want to do a concept album where the whole thing is like a movie, right? It's like a film. So I thought about this guy who's just in love with his mistress, and what would come along with that. There would be, of course, there would be the guilt, there'd be the shame, there'd be the fear, there'd be the excitement, the adventure, the feeling alive. Then, of course, there's the sex, and so that's where I get to do my sexy records.
Yeah.
For that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was like, great, I get to do sex songs, I get to do sad songs, I get to do emotionals, you know, all the different things. And so lyrically, I was able to go so deep on the Mistress. And that's why, because the Mistress became such a fan favorite, I knew I had to do Mistress Part 2.
What can we expect on Volume 2, bro?
Volume 2 is taking it to another level now, though. So the intro to the whole Mistress, I covered Coldplay's The Scientist,
Oh, wow.
right? And what I did, I changed all the lyrics to make it about the Mistress and the reason why the Mistress 2 is existing. And so that sets up the whole record. But it's deep, man. I've got this song called Jameson, which is going to be the 3rd single off the album, and that comes out with probably in about a month. The Jameson video. Now listen, that Jameson video is gonna shock a lot of people.
Okay.
It's out there, man. It's
Yeah?
really, really out there. I'm expecting a lot of slack from the Asian community too. I know there's gonna be
Is this one of those ones where I have to log in to my account
it's
on
gonna
YouTube
be like,
to watch it?
But the thing is, I'm pushing the boundaries. You have to understand, like, I'm pushing them out. But this is, for me, is an art piece. It's not. Look, none of this is real life. I clearly don't have a mistress. You know what I'm saying? I'm a married man with a kid. So it's not that I'm talking about. I'm painting a picture. So it's a movie. So Jameson is the story. This is deep though. Jameson is a story of 2 people, but the same lyrics apply for both men, right? One, he drowns his sorrows every night in the whiskey, Jameson.
Okay.
And that's his release. So he's an alcoholic.
Yep.
The other guy drowns his sorrows in a stripper called Jameson every night. And that's his release.
Okay.
Either way, both end up hurting him the next day. You know what I'm saying? So for me, the songs Jameson is so deep, and I play an alcoholic in the video. I mash up, completely don't look like what I normally look like. It's just, I'm a drunkard. And then the other guy is up in a strip club and this girl, and yes, it's graphic. You know what I mean? But and I'm there and I'm drinking and smoking, the whole thing, just to make it look like the part. So I already know there's going to be a lot of people going to be, but I have to push the boundaries. I have to show.
I think we definitely need
art. This is art. You understand what I'm saying? So like when you see Shah Rukh in a movie and he's playing a bad guy and he's got guns, that's clearly not him. Obviously, he's playing a role.
Yeah.
If you see Hrithik and he's smoking a cigarette and he's an alcoholic, that's him playing a role. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's certain people that I wanted to, like, you know, really push it out there and show that we can do some great art pieces, even if it is just music. You know what I mean?
There you have it, man. Jay Sean up in the building. I say we